This past Saturday we attended the Southern Wool Show in Newbury at the racecourse there, and it was fabulous. We saw so many beautiful yarns and all different fibre arts. So this is just a little walkthrough of most of the stalls. I got most of the stalls in, but some of them were that crowded outside that I couldn't get in to film. So if you're not on here, I'm really sorry. I just couldn't get to you. So as soon as we walked through the door, you've got like just these beautiful colours in these wefts, but I had no idea what I would do with any of them. So just having a look around, looking at all different textures at the moment because I'm wanting to make some more garments. So Amazing-ish Grace on YouTube, she's got some gorgeous like bolero things. And actually one of the skeins that I bought at this event I have started making a top with. So there's all different things at your local yarn shows. So like there's like stitch markers, beads, little gauge swatches. If you like knit, there's like sock blanks and that kind of thing. That's what all these woodwork things are. Obviously you've got like yarn balls. I use a lot of the plush chenille yarn, so unfortunately it doesn't fit in a yarn bowl as much as I think they're really pretty. However, we did get something to spin yarn on for obviously the garment projects and everything. Oh, this store, they had such fabulous mohair, and that's actually what I'm making that top in. So that orange skein there, that's what I bought. Everything's just so like pretty and colourful, but £10 for the mohair was such a bargain that I couldn't say no. And like this was in the first couple of minutes of walking through the door and I'm already spending money. So you can imagine how much I did spend. Oh, if you are actually interested in what I purchased, we have another video up on the channel which is just like a little mini haul of what we actually bought. The next person we went to is Rosie's Moments, because we have bought from her before at the Bedford show and her mystery bags are amazing. You get so much stuff in them. Some bag, like you get a bag, you get a beautiful skein of yarn, and then like all different little goodies. So she was on our list to go to as soon as we got to the show, and I'm so glad we did because that was all the mystery bags she had for the whole weekend. She said that she'd been on holiday and been busy. She does, however, do the mystery bags online if anyone's interested in getting themselves one. So it's Rosie's Moments is her website. And there was so many good deals on at this yarn show. So many skeins for like £10, £12. I really struggled not to spend like my entire wage packet on them. Let me know in the comments if you've been to a yarn show. I'm also really interested to know if there's anyone in America and what kind of stuff happens at like your fibre art shows, and if it's the same kind of thing, or if you don't really have that in your area. Is it something that you'd be interested in like accessing and that kind of thing? Oh yeah, so these ones are the carder machines, and they're like way too advanced for me. I would end up stabbing myself, but they make such pretty things. But me and my brain, I just wanted to poke it and see how sharp it actually was, which is probably a terrible idea, so we refrained. So when you go to a yarn show, there are like discounted stalls as well as like the more expensive hand-dyed lovely yarns, but all of these yarns were really nice quality and so cheap. So some of the yarn art stuff there, and I think we got a couple of cakes. I got some cakes to make some granny hexies in, and just some various bits and pieces. But obviously we know we all go for the big shiny pretty balls of yarn that we have no idea what we're going to do with. So I was just kind of having a walk around and trying to get a video of everything. I really liked these like weaved baskets, and like I kind of thought that the man weaved them himself, but then I believe like I got closer to them and that they said that they were like a product of Uganda or something. So what they are like made out there and brought over, so that's kind of cool. There's always like so many lovely like little pieces of jewelry or little brooches when you go to a yarn show, but it's so easy to miss things because things are just like strewn about everywhere, like all over the floor, like just in baskets everywhere. You really have to be able to get to look, and they're so busy that it's like really hard to get in sometimes, so you can miss bits, and I don't think you'll ever see everything there is to see at a yarn show. Quite a few of these artists that we saw at the Bedford show as well, but they all had like different bits and pieces. This venue was a little bit nicer than the Bedford one. Bedford was a bit hard to get around almost. It was in like a school, and it just was a bit closer together, whereas obviously this being at the race ground, there's a lot more room, a lot more space between like the aisles and everything. However, there was still that many people that it felt quite enclosed. You really have to kind of pace yourself if you go to like a yarn show, because if you're like someone that gets overwhelmed by like the sheer amount of people that are just around, and for some reason as well. Oh, I got some stitch markers from this lady at Twisted Yarns. I got some dinosaur stitch markers. They were so cool. What was I saying? And yes, if you're somebody that gets like quite overwhelmed by like a lot of people being around, you kind of have to like take 10 minutes out, go sit somewhere, and that kind of thing. There's always, it's going to sound really bad, but there's always like a certain demographic of women who will just shove you. And I had this happen to me at the Bedford show. A woman literally put the palms of her hands on my back and pushed me out of the way so she could get to something. And they're just entitled, and it's just baffling that someone thinks that it's okay to just touch you. Anyway, I'm like editing this video and looking through all of the yarns that we like saw when we were there, and I'm thinking, I don't remember seeing that. Oh my gosh, I wish I should have got that. So as I said, you're never going to see everything. You're never going to pick up everything that you actually wanted. The skeins that I got that I now want to go online and buy more skeins from that person. One thing I will say, if you are buying from somebody at like a yarn show and they have like an online presence, they're likely not going to have anything on their website. I did actually speak to Urban Pearl, and she said to me that she forgot to take all of her stuff off of her website. She had literally just completely blanked. She was like, I'm sure that was something that I was meant to do, and she forgot to take all her yarn off her website. And obviously if she sells that at the show, then that's going to be a problem. I don't know how much you know about hand dyeing, but obviously it takes some time, some skill, and there's some of them, like this colour in particular, is not exactly easy to recreate. So I got that skein. It was a 50% silk skein, and it was only £12, and in the bargain bin if I'd left it, it wouldn't have been there when I went back, so I just grabbed it and ran. This guy, he dyes such gorgeous colours, like his colour ways were beautiful. And then so there were certain things like the skeins that were like, oh, they're really pretty. We went and we came back. He was the last person we went to buy from, because like there were so many people just around his booth, and even when we went back, there was just like 6 people stood inside his booth. But the yarn that we wanted, he'd actually sold out of, and I think that was only like 3-4 hours into the show. So if you see something at a yarn show, buy it. Like, it won't be there when you go back. It's very unlikely that it's going to be there when you go back. So a lot of people say like their finished shawls or like their patterns, and a lot of people will either crochet or knit up their patterns as like samples so that people can see the pattern made up. It's a really nice idea. And obviously, what do you do with one skein of yarn? Probably a shawl. I've never actually made a shawl yet, and I'm looking at potentially making one now. I found a gorgeous pattern for one, actually to do with a video that I'm planning for later in the month. So let me know if that's something that you want to see. So many, like so much choice, and everyone had such different things as well. So that's what I quite like. I like finding things that you can't necessarily get like anywhere else. And like I said, I really am just into all different textures at the moment. This lady was doing like little bags that put projects in alongside like her yarns and everything, and like some of them had like Halloween stuff already, which is so exciting. We actually got something Halloweeny, but it's just like a little yarn bag. I think part of the problem with going to like a yarn show is like you have to set a budget, and I did not set a budget. I did in my head, and then like we didn't really stick to it, but I got so many pretty things, so it's fine. All these little tool tidies and everything, I think that they are a lady called Pickle Lily. Yes, Pickle Lily. And we got some of her bits last time we were at an event, and she had like this really cute seagull thing, so as you can see, there's just like people everywhere, and all these like sheep locks. They're so pretty, and like that's a really helpful sign of what can you do with them. And I'm just like, I'm picking them up, and it's just like, I don't know what I want to do with them, I just want them. However, we were gonna look at doing some like kind of witchy hats with like the locks kind of like weaved in and everything. So there's that, and then like I'm looking at needle felting some eyes and stuff. So there's kind of a lot of things to do with like other fibre arts other than just the crochet. And I will be flat out, I can't knit to save my life. I can knit a scarf, I can knit in a straight line, and I usually get bored after about 15 rows, and I'm like, ugh, I can't do this. So you probably won't see any knitting content on this channel at all, which is really funny, because if you talk to anybody at like a yarn show or something, the majority of them are knitters, and they're just like, oh, what are you going to knit with that? And I'm like, I don't knit. And it's like often like older women and everything will tell you that like crochet is a lesser discipline, but I think everything is like in its own right a good craft, and you know, you should just respect other people's artwork for whatever it is. Well, I had a look at these because they were like different, I don't know, different Halloween-y type things. So like the hand dyers, they'll like pick like a theme and do like the theme, and obviously like I'm really into like Halloween and stuff, but there was just too much choice. And as you can see, like there's so many people around, like I couldn't even get into like that area to even have a look. Like And I need somebody to teach me how to retwist yarn, because every time I get like a skein and it like starts to fall out of this twist before I've balled it. And yeah, that's something else you've got to do if you buy hand dyed yarn. You've got to then ball it up or cake it, but it's well worth it, like just for the pretty colors, for like what you can get out of something. I've made like crochet tops, and obviously now I'm making like big bolero sleeves and everything. Like they really are just like a dopamine project. So I think that's really important, and that's something that I'm really going to like be promoting on my channel, is that whilst it's all well and good, like you can have a business or you can make things for other people, or just like be crocheting like things that you think will sell and that kind of thing, but actually you need one project ongoing that is just for you, like just something that you can sit down and relax with. Because why did we all start crocheting or knitting or doing any kind of craft? It's to relax, it's to find something that's just that for you. It is that safe space, it is that wind down. And when you start to turn your passion into a business, it's really hard to not get overloaded by that, and to remember that actually, yes, you are still that person, you're still like enjoying your craft. And I think that's why so many people end up burnt out, is they don't do anything for themselves. All they're doing is they're making stuff for their business, or they're making stuff like for other people. And it's okay to be selfish sometimes. So if you want to make yourself that hat, or you want to make yourself that jumper, like you do that. I kind of set aside like maybe one day out the week where I get to make whatever I want. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy really making like the plushies or like my dolls and that kind of thing, but it really just is like something that you need to do for yourself, because otherwise you're just going to go insane. Like why, you'll get to the point where you go, why am I doing this? Why am I like working so hard? Because it is one of those things where not everybody appreciates the amount of work that goes into like creating these items and creating like basically art out of a piece of string. There are so many like beautiful textures in these yarns and everything. At this point though, I was so hot, like I'm not even sure if I was taking in what was going on in this room now, because it was just so claustrophobic with so many people. And like as you can see, like as I'm trying to like walk around, like there's people everywhere, like just literally everywhere. I'm really into mohair at the moment. I don't know why, like even since I've come back from this event, I've just been like constantly on my phone checking, ooh, where's got pretty mohair? Ooh, I wonder if this would work. I'm really on a garment kick, and if anyone's got like any good ideas for like patterns, or like just an idea of like maybe like just a top, like I'm really into tops at the moment. Like I don't think like shorts are for me, or like maybe like a dress, I'm not sure, but like I want something that's like kind of flowy and like that I don't really have to think about as I'm making it, just something that I can switch my brain off and just like crochet away. So that's currently my bolero, but I've decided that I probably can't make 100 boleros. This is the second haul now, so we took kind of like a little break, had a drink, had to sit down outside. It was quite windy this day, so like it was quite nice because it's so hot in the halls. And although this second haul seemed to have like a little bit of aircon, there was some cold air blowing through, so it wasn't too bad. Whereas the first one, it was just kind of stifling, like it was so oppressive, the heat, especially when that like you couldn't turn around without there being like someone on top of you. There's some bags in here as well, like some felted bags that I just fell in love with, and the lady is really just like an artist. So we came over and we saw Sonia Jones, who has her own YouTube channel and business and website, and she commented on our last videos, so I decided to go and say hello to her and take a look at her stall and just pop it back in another one of our videos. But again, there was like so many people in the booth that it just took me a bit to actually be able to get in there. However, I did promise that I would be filming in landscape mode this time, and I have fulfilled my promise. Everything is in landscape. Yay! I love all these neon colours at the moment. Like, what would I do with them though? Like, everything is just, oh, it's such a pretty neon. But like, what are you making that's neon? We're going into autumn. We're going into winter. Like, what am I going to be making that is like actually going to be doing anything neon? Because it probably isn't. So I kind of have stuck to like darker colours, like autumnal colours, that kind of thing. It's just one of those things. However, this shiny, like silky stuff, stunning. Oh, now this lady, she does like themed skeins and everything, and like the last event we went to, she had fourth wings. That's what I was looking at. But now all the fourth wings on the bottom, and everything she's got is Lion King. Although we were like talking to her, and one lady was looking for a Mufasa skein, and she said, oh, I didn't do one because his colours are so similar to Simba. But I heard at least 2 people ask her for a Mufasa skein as I was like wandering around her booth, and I came back again and I bought some fourth wing yarn because I'd been umming and ahhing about that. I was gonna get some mini skeins from this duck place, and like I kind of picked it up, and then I was like, oh, yes, no, and then like I couldn't actually remember what I was gonna do with the mini skeins, so I kind of like put them back. Oh, this lady, yeah, she has such gorgeous like tweed type like scarves and everything. They are absolutely stunning. And I was just talking to her, and I was actually really curious, and I forgot to ask because she's called Tabby in Tweed, and my name's Tabitha, so I was wondering if she's also a Tabitha. So if you watch this video, are you also a Tabitha? I need to know. Oh, so this place I got like loads of felty stuff from, and like this tiger is gorgeous, but I didn't get that. I got a multiple stabbing stick. So I don't actually know what it's called, but it's a clover one, and essentially like it's just applies more needles at the same time, but it's a lot easier to hold than like a normal felting needle. And like I said, I want to start making like some eyes, like maybe like some Pokemon eyes and everything, just to elevate some of my plushies and maybe make like some of my dolls have like some really pretty eyes. And this lady's work was so pretty. And obviously, like, I did ask everybody as I was going around, like, if it was okay to film and that kind of thing. Most people will say yes, but if you are walking around anywhere like this, like, some people can be funny about you filming. Obviously, a lot of people appreciate, like, exposure and stuff, but some people worry that, like, you're gonna steal, like, their ideas or designs, like. So even if it, like, you're just saying to like clarify, oh, I'm just like wanting to showcase what everybody's got and that kind of thing, like it's just polite to obviously like speak to people and ask, or like even just say hello as you're wandering around. Like I always just make sure like I'm talking to people as I go. I love all this fluffy stuff, but what would I do with the fluffy stuff? Because like I don't spin yarn, so like what can I do with the fluffy stuff? If you've got any ideas for fluffy stuff, like let me know. This lady sells like the flea bobs hooks and everything as well. Like I use a couple of those. They're not too bad, like they're quite comfortable to use. Obviously if you're a crochet you'll understand like hand pain is a real issue. I think you've possibly listened to me ramble for like long enough since we've nearly been going for half an hour now, but I don't think there's that much left. Just a couple. Oh, yes. So there is the lady coming up that does all these gorgeous like darks and everything. She's got all these lovely dark colour yarns, but like they don't just look goth, if that makes sense. Like, not that there's anything wrong with being goth, it's just like they're so versatile and like the colours, they're just gorgeous. And I think, if I remember rightly, the lady's Swedish. I love all these greens, and like when I was at the event, somebody was telling me, they were a hander, and they were telling me that green is like one of the hardest colours to shift, which I don't really see like why that would be. Like, green is such a pretty colour, and especially like coming up to autumn, and like I love green. I wear green all the time, but like I don't know if it's maybe something to do with people not knowing how to style like themselves and everything, because I've kind of noticed that like not everyone knows what looks good on them or can colour match for their body and that kind of thing. So maybe that's more it, that they just don't know what to do with like the green and everything. Because there's so many like eye-catching like greens and everything. Would you make something green? I would make everything green probably. Like pretty cowls. This lady, like, you literally couldn't get into her store. Like, she had parasols and like mandalas and everything, but there was just like, I think about 12 people just in front of her store. You couldn't get anywhere near her whatsoever. This kind of stuff is like to keep like moths out of like your yarn and everything, because it's when it's like natural fibres, like they try and eat it. As you can see, like everyone's got such gorgeous like shawls and everything. But again, like it was getting really busy in this hall now. I think everyone fills up the first hall first, obviously, and then slowly moves their way across into here. But at this point, it was just so busy. And I just couldn't get in any closer at this point. I feel like I've heard of the Dalliance shawl for like years. I wonder how long that's actually been out now. Like before I even knew how to crochet, I think I was hearing about that. But all of these beautiful like colours and everything. And this one was like a geode shawl with like the holes in it and everything. I'm just really curious as to how that would actually drape on like a body or something. Yeah, see, as you can see, like it's so busy now.